Christos Anesti, by the way.
Christos Anesti.
That's our timestamp.
So by the time Christmas comes around, people know when this was recorded.
Well, that we put on you, who's au fait with the technical difficulties of the show, or such that it is.
Right. So, Dean, how was Easter?
Before we get to Easter,
Of course.
I've got a problem with the name of the show.
What's the problem now?
Romaic Ruminations, in my opinion, apart from being last season,
Yeah.
is, well, it's last season, doesn't refer to anything. I mean, aren't we supposed to be a topical show where we discuss topics?
Mm.
I'm thinking Trumpaic Hormuzizations.
Oh, gee.
The Trumpification of the Strait of Hormuz, which is topical, or I hope it still will be in 6 months' time when this episode is uploaded. What do you reckon? Yeah, better?
Way better. You know what? I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Because you know the Strait of Hormuz.
I know of it, yes.
Hormuz sounds like Hormades,
Yeah.
dates. And famously, the Prophet Muhammad broke his fast eating dates, which I'm sure everyone was dying to know, but that's the legend. But dates are Hormades, which is an Aramaic name, Horme.
Right.
But in ancient Greek, they weren't called Hormades. They were called Dactyla because they were the shape of fingers, apparently.
Really?
Or the ancient Greeks saw them as such, yeah.
Well,
They would eat dates. They would eat dates. And they also had trading ports all along the Straits of Hormuz in ancient times, especially in Hellenistic times.
Right.
Starting with the kingdom of Kharakini, which is where modern-day Basra is in Iraq.
Right.
It's a separate little kingdom, and you find all these Greek inscriptions there. Although the satrap of Kharakini was actually Persian, it was not Greek.
Right.
Because this was the thing about the Macedonians. They were really, really clever. There's this myth that Alexander the Great Alexandrovsky Megalovsky traveled from Lerin to Bangladesh in order to watch Preston Lions play South Melbourne Hellas.
Yeah.
And he did this and conquered the known world, which is true.
Yes.
And set up colonies along the way, but they were thin on the ground. Alexander, like all of the other kings who came before him, were more about, okay, pay your tribute and run yourselves. So he actually had satraps running the eastern part of the empire. Kharakini was one of those places. Language of administration was Greek.
Yep.
King was not, but it was an important trading point, and there were little trading posts all around the Strait of Hormuz where all of the action is taking place now. So in relation to the Greek people, been there, done that.
Yeah.
Trumpaic Hormuzifications. What do you reckon?
I think we might give that one a miss, but keep on trying. I think it's one of the best parts of the whole show.
Yeah. People have stopped giving me suggestions. Like, I'm really hurt about this. I require help here, people. Mes enfants, please give generously.
Well, given that you decided to kick off the show with something topical,
Trump.
Well,
that is topical.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was actually thinking that we'd go a little deeper than that and talk a little bit.
How can you go a little deeper than Trump? What is more abysmal in the original sense? You know, abyssos, the abyss.
Yes, the abyss.
What plumbs the depths of the abyss more than the leader of the free world?
Well, I was actually thinking that we'll talk a little bit about the history of Greece and Iran.
Iran, no less.
Yeah, well, call it Iran. I mean, back in the day, it was Persia and what have you. But
it's actually called Pars or Fars. Yeah,
right.
Or you get Farsi.
Right.
Which is funny because then you would say, like, sometimes the Greeks will say, Milasta Ilinika Farsi.
I'd never heard of that.
Which they do that. Or as imagine if you say Milasta Fars Farsi, but Milasta Farsi because Farsi is the name of the Persian language in Farsi. Yeah. Right. Isn't it fantastic?
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure many viewers of this show already know a fair bit of the history.
I reckon they don't. I reckon no one watches
this. But knowing you...
Well, no one watches this.
Nah, but knowing
Except for Schrodinger's cat, which is dead and alive at the same time, just like us.
But knowing you probably have got one or two little pieces of history that no one's actually heard of. And I thought that what we'll do is just talk a little bit about the history of Persia and Greece because it's been a pretty interesting history.
Well, 1909, starting from the end and going back to the beginning,
was
the year that Persia and the modern Greek state officially established relations.
1909.
Punch cartoon, the satirical magazine Punch in London, which has a guy in a fustanella and the Persian king who had long, really big, long mustaches and had all diamonds on his coat, dancing and celebrating the resumption of Perso-Greek relations.
Right.
Yeah, before then we weren't talking for a long time because we were separated by the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
Who was not really friends with the Iran, Persia, even though the Qajar ruling family of Iran were actually Turkish.
Really?
Yep. That dynasty, which lasted for hundreds of years, was Turkish.
Right.
And we know that the Seljuk Turks conquered Iran before they came in 1070. We don't talk about 1071. 1071 and the Battle of Manzikert is never to be mentioned on this show. And that's when the Seljuk Turks defeated Romanos the Eugenis and started entering Asia Minor. But they came from somewhere. They were ruling Iran before they entered Asia Minor. So there's that. But I don't think you're interested in that. What we're looking at, I think, is I'm interested in choke points.
Yeah, well,
I mean that in the nicest geographical way. I don't know what you guys are thinking about, and stop it. Geographical choke points, places where you can apply extreme pressure in order to get maximum results.
Right.
And the Strait of Hormuz is one of those places.
Yes.
I mean, who would have thought? I mean, but then again, my superpower is I don't think things through. Yeah. So when the war began between the US and Iran, I never thought that they would just blockade the straits and bring the world to its knees.
Yeah.
That was not, and I don't think that the US in their folly and all of their military advisors and whatever, maybe
what I've
they
read,
considered, maybe they didn't.
That's what I've read too.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's something which has been applied throughout the world on many occasions. I'll give you an example. The Battle of Ergospotami during the Peloponnesian War. Mm-hmm. So Athens has a colony on the Dardanelles.
Yeah.
And that's a lifeline for the Athenian Empire. Right. Because wheat is being grown in what's now the Ukraine. Yeah. Shipped down through the straits and then enters the Aegean and then goes to all the Athenian colonies and Athens. It's the breadbasket. Right. It's a choke point. Yeah. He who controls the choke point controls the world. I mean, that's one of the reasons why hundreds of years later, the British didn't want the Russians taking control of the Dardanelles. They didn't want the Greeks controlling the Dardanelles, which is why we were not allowed to occupy Constantinople during the Greco-Turkish War. Right. When we were losing in Smyrna, there was that idea we'll occupy Constantinople. Right. The army fleeing through Thrace. And they said, no, if you do that, we will attack you. Nice. They didn't want to control they didn't want us to control the Dardanelles. It is a major commercial choke point. Yeah. So the Spartans attack Ergospotami and blockade it. Yeah. And take it over. And that single act meant the downfall of the Athenian Empire. Right. And the fact that they lost the Peloponnesian War.
Where is that located exactly?
Dardanelles on the Elispondo. The Gallipoli Peninsula.
So the Spartans went all the way up there with the Dardanelles.
So this is a misconception. Everyone considered that because of the Persian War and Sparta being a land power and Athens being the naval power, that continued, but it didn't. The Spartans developed their own navy. Right. And they did that, and they attacked them. That brought about the downfall of the Athenian Empire. They couldn't feed the population. They exhausted themselves. Right. Sparta won. And of course, Sparta also won with Persian help. Yes. Because Sparta kept on going back to the Great King, and the Great King was funding their operations and trying to knock Athens out and playing one off against the other in order to maintain some type of supremacy. Yeah. Choke points. Another choke point was the Battle of Mycale. Opposite Samos, Asia Minor and Samos, where again they, what's that word, strimoxane, what's that in English?
Choked?
They shoved the Persians into the narrow straits and they were able to destroy them, thus knocking out the Persian fleet there and allowing all freedom of movement in Asia Minor during that time. Right. The Battle of Artemisium, made famous by the sequel to 300. Yeah, where opposite Evia, where, yes, they say it was a stalemate, but again, a lot of Persian ships were destroyed. Battle of Salamis as well. Yeah. Again, the choke points, very important. And that's what we see happening now. But the Persian-Greek relations go back a long way. We know that there were always Greeks and Greek mercenaries in the Persian court. We know that a lot of the work during the invasion of Greece by the Persians was done by Greek mercenaries,
Yeah.
especially in Asia Minor, because Asia Minor was dominated by the Lydians originally. Croesus, as rich as Croesus, they say, a non-Greek Indo-Aryan speaking people, speaking a native Anatolian language, which was probably the closest relative to Greek, but which was not Greek. Yeah. And then they destroyed the Lydian kingdom, the Persians, and then they took over the Greek cities in Asia Minor. And then the other thing that we don't realize is that Thessaly and Macedonia, which then reinvents itself as the bastion of Hellenism, actually went over to the Persians.
Right.
So when the Persians decided we're going to go into Greece, the Macedonians and the Thessalians just let them walk through.
Didn't most Greek kingdoms do that though?
Interesting, Greek kingdoms as opposed to Greek city-states.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, Thessaly wasn't a kingdom. Thessaly was comprised of city-states. But the only kingdoms, Greek kingdoms at that time would have been Epirus, the Molossians, and Macedonia.
Right.
Yeah.
Sparta was a kingdom, was it not?
Who?
Sparta?
Sparta was, look, it's a sort of a weird kingdom
Kingsdom?
because you had two kings,
Kingston.
but they did not have absolute power. It was not a kingdom in the way that you imagine the kingdom
With absolute
would be.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no absolute monarchy
yes
there.
and no.
Okay, that's why we call them city-state instead.
That's why you call them whatever you want to call them. It's
Okay,
Sparta.
fair enough.
It is
Nation
entity
states.
unto itself. But yeah, so they just walked through
Right.
because the North was unprotected. The king of the North did not fight against these white walkers. But obviously they met their match and decided it was unprofitable to continue.
Yeah.
And they did what superpowers that understand diplomacy do. They say, okay, we'll control them by other means, which they did.
Yeah.
Got us fighting amongst ourselves.
Of course. We're great at that.
Subsidized that whole rigmarole. Very clever way of keeping people quiescent.
So Persia, for a number of years, has had exerted some influence and control in ancient Greece. Well, control's probably too much of a strong word, but definitely influence.
A very strong influence. But remember, it's the major power.
Yeah.
And to them, we are the barbarians.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we see it differently. They are the barbarian. Well, that's how the word barbarian came about. We're describing people whose speech was foreign to us. It sounded like bar.
That's right. Yeah.
They were a civilized people, intensely civilized.
Yeah.
Brilliant bureaucrats. They governed their empire well. And there's this belief that we have. We say, the Persian wars and our victories saved the world for democracy.
Yeah.
That's absolute garbage.
Really, team?
First of all, people did not have a bad time under the Persian Empire.
Right.
Because basically the Persian way of ruling is very much the way the Australian government rules.
Yeah.
Which is you can do whatever you want as long as you pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so the
ironically,
cities,
the Jews had a good relationship with Persia.
yeah, they did. Also, Cyrus the Great allowed them to return and rebuild their temple.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're very, very happy about that, and they love Cyrus. The fact of the matter, though, is that the cities on the Asia Minor coast were still allowed to rule themselves. There was a form of democracy. What they didn't have was a foreign policy.
Right.
Yeah, and they had to pay their taxes to the great king, the Shahanshah, the king of kings. Yeah, but apart from that, they could do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
It was a good deal. Nice break, as they say in The Godfather. But this is the thing. You can't tell a Greek what to do. Even if it's good for him. Well, how do you define good? We're exaggerating. So there's that famous scene where the Marathos is in the capital of Persia, and the Shah is saying to him, well, why don't these Greeks roll over? He says, you don't understand, we're a free people.
Yeah.
He says, but what? He says, you don't understand what it is to be free. Yeah. If you did, you would fight with it with axes and with whatever, and that's that thing. Namaste leftherikas trogom and petres. No?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. We've been brought up that way. I don't think that we can consider an existence outside that ideological framework.
Probably
But
not, no.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
But they were always being bribed by the Persians.
Yeah.
And there was always that toing and froing. And then you end up with the 10,000 in Mesopotamia, which is the battle between the Xenophon's army and the kings, the rival kings who were fighting for the Persian throne, because there were mercenaries and we were going back and forth. And people were migrating to the Persian court because it was a source of work, it was a source of wealth. There were Greek experts constantly there.
Yeah.
And what you find is that these connections are close. Remember, Asia Minor's across the water and the Persians are there. And a lot of things happen. First of all, they say that the ancient Armenian language is the closest language to ancient Greek.
Really?
Yeah, it's not mutually intelligible, but it's the closest relative. That and Thracian, they're all related, apparently. That's one theory. But then from then on, with the Persian influence, the Armenian language becomes increasingly Persianized. Interesting, but Persian is also an Indo-Aryan language, which is a distant relative of Greek. There's all of that. And then you come to Macedonia.
Yes.
Yeah, which decides to rid itself
Right.
of Persian influence. So the Macedonians invade the rest of the Greek city-states, subdue them, take them over through diplomacy, through threats, famously destroy all of Thebes, but leave the house of Pindar standing. Yeah, they love good poetry. Who would let's imagine we invade Australia,
Yeah.
and we invade Melbourne, because we are here in Melbourne, and we raise the city to the ground and leave the house of one poet. Who would that poet be? I have absolutely no idea.
Well, if you have no idea.
Probably Ouyang Yu, the Chinese poet, is pretty good. I like him. So they do that, and then there's that whole idea, how do we unite? And the best way to unite a Greek is to get them started on a project. Whether it's building a tower, like we built the Greek Centre in the middle of Melbourne. We all got involved in that, and there was enthusiasm and whatever. And say, okay, why don't we go, instead of fighting each other, and go and smash the Persians and liberate our brothers in Asia Minor? And so that is the first time where we decide to go head on.
It's about a good 170-year difference, like from Cyrus III's initial invasion of 490 odd BC. We're talking about 330 BC now, right?
So the whole idea is that how the worm turns, as they say. Here is this massive aggressive force which was overestimated at 1 million. Probably wasn't that, but anyway, originally
I doubt that very
Xerxes, Darius, Artaxerxes. Who a friend of mine was saying the other day, it was called Artaxerxes because he went to Arta, rubbish. But anyway, and Prevesaxerxes, Ioanninaxerxes, and they go and they obviously smash the Persian Empire and take it over and create a massive economic crisis in Greece because of the inflation. They bring all the gold back and all the prices go sky high. Their property prices, everything. Oh, my God. The economic crisis aspect of the Persian conquest is never considered, but it is a fact. And create the Hellenistic kingdoms, and all of a sudden there are Greeks along the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah. And they're controlling the trade routes to India.
There you go.
And creating interesting civilization contacts. Allowing stories to and technology and all sorts of things to flow. Yeah. And encouraging free trade. We like free trade here in Australia, don't we? We're against tariffs. We like free trade.
Yes, we do.
Especially when we're exporting our natural gas at really bad prices and getting not much in return.
Yeah.
Free trade. Free trade means we trade our national resources for free, basically, Mesophones.
So, got something you want to say
no,
to our PM there?
I don't. And this is being recorded AM. It's got nothing to do with PM. So, yeah. I'm allowed to make jokes like that because I'm a dad, so they're dad jokes.
Absolutely.
So you have this amazing time where Greece is dominant in the Middle East. Yeah. And it lasts a long time because even when the Romans come, by the time the Romans come, the major language, especially along the Middle Eastern part of the Mediterranean Sea, is Greek. Yeah. So the coins that are issued in Jerusalem, for example, are in Greek. You know, Tiberius the Emperor, all the proclamations in Asia Minor, in Syria, all in Greek. Yeah. And then that allows the Christianity, spread of Christianity.
It's good 300 years now of Greek language.
But then you forget that by this stage, the Persians have, through the Parthians, have sort of loosened that grip that the free Greek and Macedonian colonists, kings had. The Seleucids get confined to Syria.
Yep.
Persia prizes its way free. Why? Except for the Indo-Greek kingdom on top of India in Afghanistan, which lasts for a long time.
Right.
But in the end of the day is subsumed by the tribes that are going back and forth. That's an interesting, we should talk about that one day. The Indo-Greek, Indo-Bactrian kingdoms, which last in isolation for a while, and they're hybrid. And then the people that come after them use their alphabet, the Greek alphabet, to write in their own native tongues. They introduce a few letters, and it's an interesting thing. And then there's this antagonism between West and East. It rears its head mostly in the Roman times. So you have a renascent Persia, and you have Rome, who inherits the Greek Hellenistic outlook, which is we should be controlling, especially Mesopotamia. Persians were not really receptive to the Greeks. There were colonies in Persia, but there was no massive taking on of Greek culture,
right?
The way there was in Mesopotamia, modern Iraq. And we remember that the Mesopotamian people, they, especially in Babylon, opened up the city to Alexander.
Yes.
Yeah. And then got a mosquito to kill him. But
happens.
You go to modern day Iraq now, and apart from all of the old Assyrian and Babylonian things that they find, there's so many Greek inscriptions.
Really?
There was here at the Melbourne Museum a few years ago, they had exhibited a clay tablet, which was a Greco-Babylonian dictionary on the tablet.
Interesting.
It must have been written by someone who was there, Greek, trying to learn the words. So this means that, this means that. And you have the Greek on one side and the cuneiform Babylonian on the other.
Yeah.
Which is just an amazing thing to find. But that area of Iraq is going to be the place where East and West will start fighting for a very long time.
Right.
It's kind of like what happens now, you know. Iran wants to say in Iraq, and half the population of Iraq is Shia Islamic, like the Iranians. The others are Sunni. There's a question as to who is more Western oriented, which is a weird question because obviously ISIS, which took over Iraq and, you know, brought the world upside down, was a Sunni sect, fundamentalist Sunni sect. And you have your Christians who are there and your Kurds and your Yazidis and whatever been there since eons. But that is the point where West and East are fighting for supremacy. Yeah. And it begins in Roman times with the Romans fighting the Parthian Empire. You know, Valerian, there's that great scene where the emperor is being decapitated, stuffed with straw. They actually killed one of the Roman emperors. And Rome and Parthia continue to fight each other continuously. Yeah. It is a major drain on the world resources. Right. Yeah, because these are the two world powers, apart from China, which there's not much contact with. Yeah. They are the massive powers of their day. And they're fighting constantly. Obviously, Rome is trying to expand. They go to Britain, but that's okay. That's subdued. Germany's a bit of a problem holding that border, but that's okay. But Parthia is the major security issue because that border is constantly fluid. There are constantly raids. They are battling for every inch of territory. Yeah. And that is constant. And when Byzantium comes along, they inherit this problem. Yes. Yeah, the Eastern Roman Empire. And you have these constant epidromes raids by the Sasanian Persians who take over the Parthians, and they take over various areas. Yeah, there's an area in Pontus called Chaldea in ancient, in old times, in Byzantine times. Now, that was named because in memory of Chaldea, which was lost to the Romans in Iraq. Yeah, Thema Chaldeon, the state of the Chaldeans, had nothing to do with Chaldeans, no Chaldeans, of course, but it was a memory of and those aspirations. Constantly fighting, and that's also entrenched within our religious life. You know, we celebrate on the 14th of September, the elevation of the cross, where the emperor of the Persians came and raided Jerusalem, took the Holy Cross away in the 600s. Yeah, right. And then the emperor Heraclius went and took it back. He took it back from Iraq, which was part of the Persian Empire. Wow. And then brought it back to Jerusalem, and that act of re-establishing, re-elevating the cross back where it was is a massive holiday, which is commemorated throughout the Orthodox world and in Iraq today. Yeah, where they line the streets with crosses, the Christian neighborhoods, and light candles in the shape of a cross. And it happened there. Yeah. So, which is an amazing thing because it's a constant fighting. It is, when I say it's constant, like the emperor's best friend under Justinian's reign, Belisarius, the great general, distinguished himself not only in the recapturing of Italy and part of Spain and northern Africa, but in the wars against the Persians. Yeah, the Battle of Darda, where they're fighting for forts and they're basically all they're trying to do is create a fortified line, which the Persians are saying, no, I don't want you to fortify these towns. That's a threat against us. Yeah. It's almost like don't have nuclear weapons. Yeah. Don't enrich your uranium.
Yeah.
It's the same thing played out over a long period of time. Yeah. And they're fighting over this. Okay, you've fortified Darda, we're attacking Darda, we're taking over Darda. And that's what would happen. And there will be times when the Persians had completely overrun Syria. Yeah. During Heraclius' time, they completely overran Syria and Jerusalem. And then Heraclius takes the cross back, forces the king of the Persians to sign a peace treaty. Yeah. But then again, with these peace treaties, as soon as the king dies or is overthrown, we're back to the beginning again. Yeah. Yeah. In the meantime, there's cultural exchange. Yeah, this is going on, but they're all learning from each other. Yeah. And remember, there's a large Christian population in Persia, comprised of Greeks, Syrians, Assyrians, even native Persians, who are considered the fifth column of Byzantium. Really? Yeah, so the Persians are really persecuting them. And there are Persians in the Byzantine Empire, and they say that some of the leading Byzantine officials and eunuchs were Persians. Also, there are more Persian saints in the Orthodox Church probably than any other saint because the persecution of Christians within Persia was so immense. Really? Yeah. So there's all of that. And at the end of the day, and this is what I'm leading to, I think, because I've lost the thread of my argument, this. The Byzantine Empire, which is the inherit of the Roman Empire, which is the inherit of the Hellenistic kings, and Persia exhaust themselves, their resources, their time, their men, their wealth, so that by the time these people come out of the Arabian Peninsula and attack both the Byzantines in Syria at the Battle of Yarmouk and in Persia, that leads to the collapse of both civilizations almost.
You're talking about the Arab conquest of 600 AD.
Yeah, it was during Heraclius' time. Yeah. Battle of Yarmouk. Yeah. The Arabs did a feint to flee. Yeah. The Byzantines pursued them, thought that they had won, were destroyed. Yeah. Lost Syria, lost Jerusalem, lost Egypt. And the face of the Byzantine Empire changes. It's no longer as multicultural. It's no longer as strong. Egypt is a breadbasket. We lose Egypt. Yeah. That's another choke point. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. We lose our reach, our internationalism to the extent, I mean, we still retained a lot of it, but not nearly to the extent that it was. And it becomes a different, more narrow, different place. Similarly, Persia loses a lot more than we do because we're able to retain a rump, which is Asia Minor, parts of Syria, which we managed to periodically take back once in a while, especially Ioannis Tsimiskis, Nikiforos Fokas. And then even during the Komnenos era, we retake Antioch. Right. But then there's the Crusaders, and it's a whole kettle of fish. But the Crusaders are fighting also people from the east coming from Persia. Yeah. And there's that pressure. But that's another story. So you become a more Hellenic, Greek-speaking state, whereas before you had Aramaic-speaking people, Coptic-speaking people, all these other nations playing a bigger role. Those people are now part of a different world. For 100 years or so, the administration in Syria is still in Greek, but then it gradually switches to Arabic. In Persia, a lot more drastic changes. First of all, the Pahlavi script, which is the native script of the Persian people, which is written in an Aramaic script, is lost. Arabic is introduced. Yeah. They, over the course of time, they convert wholesale to Islam. Yeah. And then espouse the Shia religion. Yep. And becomes a different culture. Yeah. Yeah. But that antagonism between West and East remains. So now we are fighting an Islamic Persian empire, but we're also fighting a whole different Islamic caliphate in total. And that dichotomy and that fault line, which I place in Iraq, is with us today. I mean, you even get the Ottomans fighting the Persians for control of that territory.
Really?
And at the Battle of Chaldiran, the Turks beat the Persians and take Iraq, and they have it until the end of the Ottoman Empire. Yeah, that is a place where the empires exhaust themselves fighting for supremacy. Now, whether that will happen today, I don't know. Will this mean that we're going to be bombarding Iran and, well, not us because we're not part of that here in Australia, and then these massive superpowers vying for supremacy in the Middle East will exhaust themselves? I don't know, but it really, really is interesting.
Well, fast forward to today.
Yes.
And Greece is an active participant in what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. They've got Patriot missiles that they're firing into
Do you remember that
Iran?
Greece is interesting because Greece has always had a very subtle role to play in the Middle East. Why? Because we've always been there. We are the country, the European country, that has always had close relations with the Middle East because of proximity, because we ruled over the Middle East, because people migrated there.
Yeah. Has changed,
I
though.
can say that I know many people from where my father comes from Samos, who lived in Iran.
There you go.
And there were Greek communities in Iran till the 1950s.
Yeah.
A lot of these people came here to Australia. Yeah. So we understand, I think, or did understand the Middle East, its sensitivities, choke points. You know, we've got a role to play in the Jerusalem Patriarchate, so we understand Palestinian issues. We navigate Israeli, if you like, also apetisis, requirements, demands, and that's not always very easy. We have a relationship with the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate of Antioch in Syria. There's a history there. There's a way of doing things. And we've always been able to be, if you like, diavelos epikοινωνίας, a way of communicating and opening up negotiation pathways. And also, Greeks are shipbuilders, and ship owners. And Greek merchant fleets are very big and very important one around the world.
They are, yeah.
They're a little country that, in terms of shipping, punches above its weight immensely.
Yeah.
So there's all of that. And we're also a country which is tied to the EU. Not we live in Australia, I keep on forgetting. The EU, and we're also a NATO ally, and there are a lot of pressures. So the fact that you tell me that we're firing Patriot missiles into Iran, is that what you're telling me? Because I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah, that
I haven't heard this before.
we've intercepted. I wouldn't say maybe not firing into Iran, but I think that we've used
some drones.
Yeah,
used to me.
Helping I think that I believe that they're based in either one of the small Arab countries like the UAE or in Saudi Arabia.
This is news to me. My understanding of Greek foreign policy in the Middle East has always been very subtle, very careful. I don't know what they're doing now. I need to watch some more podcasts. Yeah.
But now we've also got something else that I came across very recently. Also, is that up until the late 90s, apparently Greece had a Palestinian embassy in Athens.
See, Andreas Papandreou, the founder of PASOK, blessed be its memory, was close friends with Yasser Arafat.
Yes, that's right.
And Yasser Arafat came to Athens, and he was faded, and they had that relationship. Yeah. So,
but up until the late 90s, that just very quickly dissipated.
No, what's happened now is that up until recently, Israel and Turkey have been strategic partners. That has broken down.
Yeah.
Turkey is no longer a friend to Israel.
Yeah.
And Israel has drawn closer to Greece.
Yeah.
And to the extent where Turkey is feeling unsettled and insecure about this. So there's a shift. Well, I don't know how permanent that shift will be, but there is a shift in the way these alliances and alignments are taking place. It should be interesting to see what happens. And obviously, a friend of mine told me the other day, Athens airport, there was a billboard written in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Where, and basically what it said was, don't think of leaving Greece unless you've bought a property here or something like that. They're advertising property. They're open to Jewish investment.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's causing a lot of concern in some quarters.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Greece still has a role to play in the Middle East.
No, they do, because we've got the know-how, we've got the skills, we understand the people. It's our area, their area, sorry, we're in Australia again. And it's an interesting thing to see how it will play out. But what's more interesting is looking at these longer-term trajectories, because it seems to me that it's the geography which determines the politics. And that's my argument, for example, with Turkey's role with Iran as well.
Yeah.
You know, on the face of it, both Islamic countries, but no, you know, a lot of differences. I think geography, to a great extent, determines your policies and your tensions in an area.
Erdoğan's recent speech in Turkish parliament was interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You follow Erdoğan closely, yeah?
I wouldn't say that.
I get all of my hairstyle tips from Erdoğan, yeah.
I wouldn't say that, but he was talking about how there are no different peoples, there's only one people, and it's the Muslim people, and we are going to be standing with our Iranian brothers and sisters against...
Great.
Yeah.
I hope that works out for him in the nicest possible way. And my heart goes out to the people of Iran. I think it's terrible what they're going through, and Lebanon. And I hope that people see sense and decide that peace is the way to go.
Right.
A little piece of this, a little piece of that. Yeah.
Speaking of peace, you and I had a discussion.
We had a discussion. What did we talk
recently
about?
On Australian-Greek relations, and specifically how the Battle of Vevi is becoming a
Battle of Vevi, Veveos.
It's becoming one of those
places where, say,
historical events.
It is a historical
we
event. It
are
happened.
deciding to commemorate because of Australian-Greek relations. And yes, you mentioned how this might be somewhat erroneous.
No, I didn't say erroneous, but I find this thing interesting because this never happened before.
Right.
Our national days were Cospende Martiu,
Yes.
and we'd go and march up and down in our full regalia. It was the 8 Octombriu. We never really celebrated, then we brought it back. And now we do wreath-laying ceremonies.
Yes.
And then we decided to celebrate the Battle of Crete, commemorate the Battle of Crete.
Correct.
And the Battle of Crete gave us a bit more purchase with the Aussies and the Return Services League because Australians fought in Crete.
Yeah.
And it was a way of emphasising the fact that, hey, guys, you know, our history is entwined. You know, it's not just that we came as hungry people here and you gave us somewhere to live and some work and factories and really bad working conditions, and we made something of ourselves. It was our history lies beyond that. So here we are, and then we do a wreath-laying ceremony.
Yeah.
And then we said, what else can we wreath-lay about? And then we decided that, you know, we invented the Battle of Kalamata.
Yep.
So
we invented.
Well, we didn't invent it. We invented the Battle of Taramosalata. Okay. So in Kalamata, the Australian army was retreating, and then they got to Kalamata and they got on some boats and they left. And they went to Crete and then they buggered off to Egypt.
Yeah.
So we celebrate that with, drum roll, a wreath-laying ceremony.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And now we're going to celebrate, well, in some parts of Australia, some groups, Vevi's in Macedonia, so I'm assuming it's Macedonian groups that will do it. The Battle of Vevi.
Yes.
It was up in Florida, up that way, yeah?
Yes.
And, okay.
Which is tied to the Battle of Kalamata. Starts in Vevi, ends in Kalamata,
I don't know I'm not really interested in military history. I find it really boring. But for those of you who haven't read the 5-volume novel on the Battle of Vevi, but Vevi was a place, my good friend historian Jim Clavin wrote and produced a documentary about all of these battles.
Yeah.
And he talks about how the Australian soldiers found themselves there with no winter equipment, no shovels to dig trenches, very, very basic instructions about what to do.
Yeah.
But the whole idea was to hold the line so that the British soldiers could retreat orderly.
Nice.
Now, if you have a look at the advertising material for the wreath-laying ceremony for the Battle of Vevi,
yes,
what they're saying is that these people fought for Greece's freedom.
Yes.
And I think that's interesting because I don't think that's 100% correct. By inference, maybe, But the whole idea was there are all these world powers, and I
Yeah.
mean, we're holding off the Nazis. You know, Mussolini had invaded Greece
Yeah.
through Epirus. The Greeks pushed them back and were liberated northern Epirus and were pushing him back even further. And there was a stalemate when they got to around about Elbasan.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hitler decides to invade through Macedonia
Yeah.
because the bulk of the Greek army was still in Albania.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're holding, Australian soldiers have been asked to hold the line at Vevi, and there was a Greek contingent as well.
Right.
And I'm assuming that they were fighting for their freedom.
Yeah.
But the British forces,
Yeah.
which includes Australians, New Zealanders, were told to hold that line so they can retreat orderly through Greece, so they can get out the other end and eventually end up in Egypt, where they could live to fight another day.
Yeah.
I don't believe that the British High Command was motivated by a great desire to defend Greece. I think they understood that Greece was not defensible.
Yeah.
The whole idea was, as I say, strategic, orderly retreat, preserve the troops, get them out. They were not fighting for the freedom of Greece. It was the canvas upon which these broader strategic considerations were being played out. It could have been Hungary. It could have been Italy. It could have been wherever.
Yeah, but then...
So for me, I don't for one disparage the bravery of those people.
Of course not, no.
And if you have a look, especially go and have a look at the documentary about the Battle of Vevi by Jim Clavin. The stories of heroism by these soldiers,
Yeah.
no equipment, no understanding of what they're doing, are amazing. Very, very brave, hardy, good people. And the Greek soldiers who assisted, except for General Tsolakoglu, who was a quisling, who then ordered them to just disband and bugger off. And well, Tsolakoglu was a German sympathizer.
Oh, okay.
He was the first German patsy ruler of Greece.
Right, okay.
Under the occupation. He just told the soldiers, go home. And then the whole front collapsed and they all went home. There was no orderly retreat of Greek soldiers. It was chuck your weapons and go home.
Wow.
Capitulation. We don't talk about this. We talk about the continuous resistance and the heroic Greek people. Absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. He told them to all go home. You hear stories of Greek soldiers making the walking from the front all the way back to their homes in Athens or wherever they were on their own, discarding their uniforms, discarding their weapons, hoping they don't get caught by the Germans coming down.
Yeah.
That's what he did. That front collapsed. The only place where there was continuous resistance was Crete.
Right.
Because we know the Cretans are people who will not, they've got different mentality, and also they didn't listen to the high command and the British soldiers. So the Battle of Vevi for me is an important battle, but it doesn't have the significance that we're giving it to it. And then the next question is, why are we giving it this significance, Pete? Why is it important for us to organise another wreath-laying ceremony where we basically invite a token Aussie and we extol our joint commitment to democracy and freedom and thank these people? It's because we want to buy into the Australian national myth. This couldn't have happened 30 years ago because the Anzac myth had been, back in that day, was not big.
Yes, it wasn't. You're right.
After the Vietnam War, Australia went the other way. They didn't want to hear about military.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, it was Howard that brought this back in the 90s, this
that's
big
right.
idea, the national myth and mateship and Gallipoli and fighting and blah, blah, blah. And then we want to fit in.
Yeah.
We want to be part of that, but we can't because we weren't here when that happened. And we're wogs. So how do we sort of infiltrate into the Australian national myth? We find ways. Battle of Vevi, Battle of Kalamata, Battle of Taramusalata, Krithia, Gallipoli. Krithia makes sense because there were 15,000 Greeks living on the Gallipoli Peninsula, and they were removed in order for it to be fortified in the First World War. There was an ethnic cleansing there, which we don't talk about. We forget about that. But Battle of Vevi, fine, because we want to be accepted. Now, the Battle of Vevi, when you read the accounts by Australian soldiers, Australian historians, the Greek people get barely a mention. It's all about the strategic considerations. We went there to this land which means nothing to us.
Yeah.
And our heroism lies in the fact that we strategically retreated in order, maintained the line, got our troops out.
Put it like that's not a very good story.
But that is the story. Now, your individual soldiers, and they've interviewed them, did talk about relating to the Greek people, how the Greek people helped them, how the
Okay.
Greek people were really
Well,
nice,
there you go.
how they had, because the Greek people gave them stuff. The Greek people hid them.
Yeah.
The Greek people looked after them.
There you go.
What did they do for the Greek people? What are we thanking them for? We're thanking them so that we can be prominent, so that we can take some photos when we're laying the wreath. Yeah?
Yeah.
And so we can buy into this narrative that they don't want us to belong to. We don't belong to that narrative because they don't want us to belong to that narrative. It is their narrative. So my argument is, have your wreath-laying ceremony, discuss the Battle of Vevi. It's a
Yeah.
historical event.
Right.
Maybe view it in context, but don't think for a moment that you're buying into that great Australian military myth, because you're not. Yeah? They're looking at you and saying, okay, that's fine.
It's a very cynical view.
It's a cynical view, and I understand why you scoff. And you scoff without raising your eyebrow, which is a skill I've never been able to master. But you look at our 25th of March celebrations in Melbourne,
Okay.
yeah, which we are not allowed to have at the Shrine of Remembrance anymore
No.
because of certain events that took place in 2019 where
Yes.
guests from Greece were sworn at and abused.
Yes.
Okay, but what they do let us do, it's like, you know, when Adam was kicked out of paradise and then there was the fiery sword, Romaic, at the gates, which wouldn't allow him to go into. So he lived outside the gates of paradise. We have our march outside the gates of paradise. But in their infinite mercy, the trustees of the Shrine of Remembrance allow us to have a wreath-laying ceremony on the grounds of the shrine with dignitaries, no
Yeah.
one else, and then tell you things like, okay, you can't speak about the Greek Revolution.
That's right.
We want to vet your speeches
Yes.
before you say those speeches.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, you can't speak about the Greek Revolution on the Greek Revolution Day.
Yeah.
You have to only speak about Greek-Australian friendship.
Yes.
And not only that, you must speak in English
Correct.
so we can understand what you're saying.
Yes. Can't be
Yes.
speaking in Greek.
Now, tell me how respectful of our mutual fighting for democracy and freedom is. No? No. They want to be controlling the narrative. And when you are buying into those myths or trying to find purchase, one, it's not getting you anywhere, and that is the proof. And two, you're actually entrenching and recognizing their role as the fashioners of the dominant myth. It's not you. It's not your myth. You're creating their myth and you're bolstering their hegemony over your history. Just like the Spartans and the Athenians, by referring their disputes to the great king in Persia, recognized his ascendancy over them. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying know what is the effect of what you're doing.
Okay. I find it hard to understand what the tangible benefits are when we do this, though.
I know what the tangible benefits are.
What are they?
I know the way. You take a photo and you put it in the paper and you go, Eortasame mazi, τη μάχη της Βέβης. Yeah? And it's great because it looks like you're actually doing something.
Yeah.
But laying a wreath is different from actually sitting down and thinking about the actual event, maybe engendering a discussion about it. Yeah, these are two different things. One takes time and requires hours of watching, and then the other one is just chucking a wreath on the thing and taking a photo. It's great. You're a patriot when you lay a wreath.
The only benefit I can see is very quickly, almost overnight, when the Anzac myth was pushed, and that was actually became part of the Australian zeitgeist. One of the myths was the Australian Turco friendship. That's just come up out of fruition, out of nowhere.
Yeah, and you would remember, or you don't remember because it's there, next to our Hellenic memorial, Hellenic Greek Australian memorial, which is supposed to be a memorial to Greeks and Australians fighting together in various wars, but we use as a national monument.
Yes.
And we even lay wreaths for the Pondian genocide there, even though it's
Yes.
got nothing to do with Greek-Australian fighting.
True.
Or there are tenuous links, but not really direct ones. Right up next door is the Turkish monument.
Yes.
And yes, the Turks are afforded a lot more prominence in the Anzac myth because Australians control the myth, and there's that idea of the noble Turk.
Correct.
You know, which was also created by Turk, who supposedly said that line about your soldiers who lie in our grounds are our soldiers.
Supposedly being the operative
And
word.
there is no evidence. And Australian historians have had a bit of a chat about that and conducted research and have come up with a conclusion that never happened.
Yeah.
It's a myth.
Yeah.
But myths are powerful.
They are.
And they remain.
They do.
Yeah.
So I suppose that these other links, these other events that we do are about reinforcing Australian-Greek relations, because this myth that was created with the Anzac Day one, I think it actually has had a very negative effect on Australian-Greek, Greek-Australian relations.
I don't know whether it's had a negative effect, and maybe you can explain to me why you think that. But I look at a few circumstances. A couple of years ago, the EV zones, the Presidential Guard, was here, and they wouldn't let them, the people controlling the Anzac parade wouldn't let them march all the way into the parade. They had to only march part of the way and turn off.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
The Anzac parade people will tell you, do not march in national costume.
Yes.
And you say, well, hang on, why? My grandfather fought in, that costume or whatever. Yeah, well, bad luck. This is our day. We can do what we say. We don't want any of this ethnic stuff here. And they place a lot of restrictions on the Greeks who march. I'm entitled to march because obviously my grandfather fought in that war, and you're allowed to. I refuse to march.
Yeah.
I refuse to march because the whole way that's constructed is a problem for me.
Yeah.
Some very fine philosophers and scholars here in Melbourne, Nikolakopoulos and Tula Nikolakopoulos and Vasilakopoulos George, lecturers at La Trobe Uni, have written a book about the way we're seen and the way we try and buy into these myths. And they say the Greek is always considered an eternal foreigner, an eternal subversive.
Really?
And the Greek will always try and insinuate himself in order to gain acceptance, and that will never happen. You have to develop an amnesia about who you are before you're able to enter that. And they take it a bit further, which some people find far-fetched, but I find interesting to explore. They say that the reason why they do this, the dominant class, is they want migrants to recognise their hold over a land which is illegitimate. So the way they say is that, okay, you've come here, you've taken the land from the native people. By me allowing you to come here and you agreeing to abide by my laws, you are tacitly accepting the fact that me being here is legitimate. You're legitimising my rule. It's a really interesting intellectual argument. We haven't got time to get into it.
I think it's far-fetched.
I don't think it is. I think it's interesting.
I don't buy into that.
But I do find it compelling that we're constantly considered subversive after 100 years. For me, the Battle of Vevi should have been the clincher. It should have convinced the Australians that we are just as Australian as them, and that we can go to the Anzac parade in our fustanella or wearing our matya and komboloy or whatever the hell we want, because we're just as Australian. Why hasn't it? How many more wreath ceremonies do we have to organise, Peter? But you tell me why you think the Anzac stuff's not effective.
Well, you mean to tell me why the Turkish Australian myth has been very, very bad for Greek Australians?
Well, we're not in control of the myth.
I know, but
we can't do anything about that.
The fact that myth exists, and the fact that they've elevated the Turkish role and prominence and the noble Turk, that myth there has led to huge increase in interest from the average Aussie to go to Anzac Cove and commemorate.
But that's also
Anzac Day
because that's a state-sponsored thing.
Well,
so Turkey promotes that. For example, there are a lot of Australians, Anglo-Australians, who have gone to Limnos and have discovered the hospitals on Limnos. Australian troops were quartered in Limnos.
Yeah.
There has not been any efforts by the Greek government to promote Limnos as an alternative, which they could really do, or because there are all of the
I've spoken to somebody about that.
So there are Australian historians, Anglo-Australian historians, who are pushing for this to happen and go there regularly. And there's a Lemnos committee. There's a Lemnos memorial here in Melbourne. It's pushing the proverbial uphill because there's no interest from Greece. Greece does not understand or does not care, probably doesn't understand the way Australian myth-making works. That is a tourist market that could be cornered for the sake of profit. How does that help us in the long run? I don't know. Let's assume that Australians turn around and say, you know what? Okay, Battle of Vevi, We're going to celebrate that as a national holiday. Battle of Kalamata, 2 days off. Yeah. Battle of Crete, 5 days off. Battle of Crete's an amazing thing. How does that help us in the long run?
The only personal issue I've had as a Greek was advocating the recognition of the genocide. And many Australian politicians, Anglo-Australian politicians, don't want to even touch the subject because
Why?
they're afraid of retribution from the Turkish government. First one being restrictions to going to Anzac Cove.
Yeah, exactly. So now we have
So now
historical...
we have a myth that was developed by
a
the
myth
Australian
is
government.
blocking a truth. And what is so cynical about it, and you accused me before of cynicism, and don't think I'll ever forget that, ever. Les enfants, I have the memory of an amnesiac elephant. You have a fact, Pondian genocide, and I mean, you and I are involved in discussing Pondian genocide on a broader basis here in Australia. Politicians agree the genocide took place.
Yes,
They choose not to do anything about it in terms of recognition because they want to uphold a myth.
Yes.
I'm saying myths are very powerful.
They are. I agree.
Yeah.
So I think that part of this reason why we're pushing these other links is to combat that.
I don't think we are. I think we're pushing the links so that we can lay wreaths and take photos.
Well, I can't argue with that either because we certainly love to do that as a community, and we've discussed your wreath-laying cabal theory in the past.
I mean, you have a wreath-laying ceremony. You have your Dimitria, which I want to remove. I want to remove Dimitria, and I want to replace it with Papulidia in honor of the great Peter Papoulidis in Sydney, who's a great Pondian doyen of all things Pondian and Macedonian, and we could do that.
Why him?
And lay wreaths to his memory.
Why him?
Because
Why that?
Papulidia rhymes with Dimitria. Can't we do that?
Yeah.
The Battle of Papoulidis.
Now there's something.
Yeah.
We should really discuss that one
I think
day.
we'll do that next time. But we digress, which is what we always do, because we lack structure, discipline, and a cohesive perspective.
Oh, man.
It's true. You know what I was looking at the other day?
What are you looking at?
So I was opening up the Greek paper, because I
Yeah.
read the Greek paper, and I'm one of those few people, mes enfants, that get the Greek paper, Neos Cosmos, a preference, because that's got broader sheets, and then I can use it to... See, there's two major rags here in Melbourne. One is Neos Cosmos, the other is Dardanelles.
Yes.
Dardanelles is more compact, but the το χαρτί που χρησιμοποιούν, it's a lot rougher.
Yeah.
Neos Cosmos is a lot better. Windex, Windows. Newspaper for Windows.
Yeah.
Works really good. Creates that shine. I always use Neos Cosmos for my Windows after I've read it.
You've told.
But I'm one of those people who read Neos Cosmos from cover to cover, starting from the front, not the back where the death notices are.
Right, okay.
So I open up the Neos Cosmos and I see Pete, blah, 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 μετασχηματισμός στην κυβέρνηση, because a lot of the members of the Victorian government have resigned.
Yeah.
And then it says προάγεται ο Steve Dimopoulos
Yeah.
και ο Nick Stakos in English.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, hang on, this is bizarre. The whole paper is written in Greek.
Yeah.
Here are Greek-Australian parliamentarians who are Greek.
Yeah.
They don't have foreign names. Their names are Greek names.
Yeah.
And they're written in English in Roman letters.
Why?
Why?
What do you think the people does
It's bizarre.
that? Yeah.
So I'm thinking about it. Why would you do this?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Okay, if, for example, it's the Prime Minister. But, I mean, you look at SBS radio or something like Anthony Albanese, which is actually wrong. It should be Albanese, not Albanese. But they even transliterate it using the Australian accent, which is wrong because the Italian word's Albanese. It's not Albanese. It's incorrect. They can't even get that right. But they, to some extent, Hellenify his name. Yeah? And yet they anglicize the names of Greeks.
That is very unusual.
What are they doing?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what I think they're doing.
Yes.
I think there's this idea of who's actually Greek and who isn't.
Right.
So originally I thought, well, is this the first generation which controls the Greek language media
Yeah.
saying, you know what, we are the arbiters of who is Greek and who isn't.
Yeah.
Now, you guys there who are second generation, third generation,
Yeah.
you are second generation, you are the Diet Coke of Greek. Third generation, you are the Coke Zero.
Okay.
You are descendant from us, but don't you dare say you're Greek. And just to drive the point home, we are going to write your name in English because we don't do it with anyone else. So that was my first.
Okay.
That was my first conclusion.
All right.
But then I thought, hang on, that's not consistent because then you have people within the Greek community who are second generation.
Yeah.
But they're entrenched within the Greek community. And I point you gently into the direction of our august president of the GOCMV, the Greek Orthodox community of Melbourne, Victoria, Bill Papasteriadis, whose name never appears in the Greek as Bill Papasteriadis in English.
BP.
It's always Vasilis Papasteriadis in Greek.
Yeah, that's right.
And Bill is a person who, well, his English is better than his Greek.
Yes.
Not by much because Greek's quite good.
Yes.
Who plays a very prominent role in broad Australian society. He's a high-powered lawyer. He recently got an award. Schmoozes with the politicians, does great work outside the Greek community.
Yeah.
And yet his name is written in Greek. Why? Because he's the president of a Greek organisation within that little tiny group called the broader Greek community.
Yeah.
He plays a role. Other people who are sort of like that, also. But these politicians, and sometimes you see people make cameo appearances, so-and-so scientist, or this person or that person, always written in English, don't play a big role in the Greek community.
Right.
And because they don't play a big role in the Greek community and they're mainstream, we write their names in English. Kayla Tsines, the influencer, fitness and all that, her name's never written in Greek.
Right.
It's always in English. She's Greek, there's no doubt about it, but their names are always written in...
There's only one way to test that, Dean.
Greek. How do we test this?
One of these people from within the community has to become a politician.
No, but that's my point. If you are a politician, but you've already been entrenched within the Greek community...
You'll maintain it.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay.
That's a theory. I don't know because I look at this and I find it interesting. I'm a weird victim of this.
Right.
Because, my name in Greek is Konstantinos Kalimnios.
Yes.
I've got some type of involvement within the Greek community.
Some.
And then sometimes I see,
in
English, my name is Dean Kalimniou, and sometimes I see my name written in English as Dean Kalimniou, and other times in Greek as Dean Kalimniou.
Yes.
Which causes me to do strange things. I just find it interesting.
I've had
in Greece.
I've had bitter.
Yeah. In Greece, it's a phenomenon. They like to render Greek migrant names in English.
Yes.
Maria Callas is never Maria Carla or whatever it is. Maria Menounos in America.
Yeah.
It's never Maria Menounou. It's always Maria Menounos, even though that ending is masculine and is incorrect.
Yes.
It's highlighting the difference, the exoticism, the fact that, yes, they're part of the broader Greek world, but they're not mainstream. They're not metropolitan Greek. I get that, and Greeks love to do that because they're innately xenophobic and they like to build boundaries between people. That's how we are.
No, but it's a little more... It distinguishes you a little more, I think.
No, it de-Hellenizes you. It tells you there are degrees of Hellenism and we are the arbiters. Greece says we are the arbiters of Hellenism. You are Greek to the extent that we say you are. And my argument is that the people that control the media here or write the articles take on that role subconsciously. And then I thought this, which completely explodes and contradicts everything I've just said. You just wasted your time as on phone watching, which you should have known this from the beginning. You shouldn't have clicked on this link to begin with. Well, why shouldn't you do that? Ours is a hybrid reality.
True.
We live in Australia. Increasingly, most of that second, third generation that are involved in the mainstream of Australia, those politicians, their Greek is poor. They probably only speak Greek when they go to Greek events. Yeah. That is our hybrid reality.
True.
We are in this world and that world.
True.
And the way a lot of us understand our Hellenism, not me, by the way, never me, always accept myself from it, is influenced by the way we live here in the broad Australian culture, in the Anglosphere. So we are Greeks within this Australian framework. And sometimes it's that Australian framework which delineates the nature of our Greekness and our identity. So why wouldn't we put those names in that language?
I don't know why.
I don't know why. It's a strange thing. And that happens. For example, Ivan Savidis, the great Russian Pondian businessman and benefactor and erstwhile friend of Putin.
Yeah.
Ivan. Yeah. What's Ivan? Ivan is Yanis, isn't it?
Yanis, that's right.
Yeah. So you don't have Yannikas.
No.
You don't have Ioannis Saviris. It's Ivan.
Ivan, yeah.
Yeah, but they don't, see, it's interesting. They don't write Ivan in Roman letters and they don't write Ivan in Cyrillic letters.
No.
They transliterate that.
Yes, they do.
But Maria Callas is, I've seen it in Greek things as Maria in English, Callas in English.
Wow. I had no
How's that
idea.
work? Because she lives in the Anglosphere. And maybe some scripts get more currency than others. You know, the Cyrillic script is closer to the Greek script.
It is.
And yet you never see anything transliterated into Cyrillic.
Oh, well, English, international language. Right?
Even though it would be easy for a Greek to read it without any effort at all. Ivan, you can read it straight away.
Absolutely, yeah.
So for me, I just found that interesting and it gave me pause. And I actually sat down and did an amazing thing. I wrote an article about this,
Oh, yes.
trying to examine the causes and also the whole idea of who determines the narrative. I mean, you expertly and subtly in your way talked about who determines the Anzac narrative.
Right.
So I'm looking at who determines the Greek identity narrative in Australia, apart from the Aussies. What's going on here? Yeah. Henceforth, Pete, I demand that our names only be rendered in English.
From now on.
But Old English, you know, before the conquest of the Vikings.
Oh, sorry.
If you say so. Yeah, I think it'd be great.
Yeah. We're done. We've reached the end.
I feel hollow.
You always feel something negative.
I
Can you ever feel fulfilled once?
No, I feel unfulfilled, but that's general. I had so much more to say, which I haven't,
Yes.
and yet I had nothing to say of substance, which
That's
is always the case.
Always the case. You've hit the nail on the head. That's what makes
Το
this shows.
ζητούμε είναι to be able to find something to discuss which is of substance, and I've never ever, in how many episodes of this show, over how many years, been able to do this.
Just never do it.
It makes me unhappy.
People like it though. Well,
They
some
don't.
people
They
do.
don't.
They
They
do.
don't. You
They
can
do.
see.
Trust me. I've read the comments. They actually do.
You actually read the comments?
I do read the comments. Yes.
No, I refuse to read comments because then I find that then you get influenced. And
I
you
don't
should
get
never,
influenced, but
ever
yeah.
give the punters what they want, Pete.
No.
That
Okay.
is-
Yes. Yes.
that
of course.
is
Yes.
the secret
Yes. Every successful businessman will tell you
of
that.
success. Someone stopped me in the street the
Yeah.
other day.
Yeah.
And that only happens when people want money. But generally, and said to me, "Oh, you know, I watch your podcast.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I recognise you." I said, "Well, I feel so sorry for you." And on behalf of my esteemed colleague, I apologise profusely, and to you all out there. And he said to me, "What did he say to me?" I just lost the thread of my conversation.
Was he in favour of what we were doing? Did he like it? Did he not like it?
I don't know. I got caught up in the apology and I forgot what I was saying. Although, what did he say? We were talking about how you never give the punters what they want.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what we were saying. We
Oh
never
yeah,
do.
he said to me this. He said, "You must make a lot of money out of this podcast."
That's what he said.
So, in the interests, mes enfants, of financial disclosure,
Oh, gee.
because we're not like Greek Australian organisations who don't publish their financials,
Yes.
and because yes, we are now planning a trip, me and Peter, to Tahiti.
Oh, yeah.
Will you disclose how much money we've made from this podcast?
If you wish. What, for this
Please.
year or last year altogether? Or
Altogether. How much money we made?
$108?
$108, mes enfants. Yeah.
We blew that on lunch once.
That was that. I thought you were being generous.
No.
That was the lunch
That
money.
was the
from
lunch
this.
money, yeah. Yeah.
Now, I don't know how much of us you
Great
can
businessmen
yeah,
we are.
I don't know how much of us you can see on this show, but we are not corpulent. We are svelte and slim people because we are hungry. So please watch the show. That will enable us in 5 years' time to have another lunch.
Another lunch. That's the goal.
And we require that lunch. And if you watch this show and send the link to 4 people and can verify that they've also watched it, maybe we'll invite you to join us. Dromaras us.
Yeah. I don't know why you want to subject yourself to that, but yeah, we can offer that.
I do it all the time.
That's right.
Once I even ate in front of a mirror. That was horrific. I had dyspepsia for a week. You know, Pepsi.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, well, Pepsi, the drink,
Yes. I know it. Yes.
comes from the Greek word pepsi, which means digestion.
Serious.
Yes, because pepsi, digestion, was the idea was, you know how they always used to say in Greece, pies mia soda,
Yes.
mi varis stomachiasis? It's that. That's
Really?
where it comes from, yeah, Pepsi. So buy Pepsi, don't buy Coke. Because remember, Coke comes from Atlanta and they stole the games. That was a long time ago. Probably most of you weren't born, but just remember that. Look it up.
It's 296.
I've had enough. Did you on the man?
All right.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Yes, us.